So I think that if anything, it was the ref's job to make sure that the gloves were on right. They obviously weren't. And not only that, not only were they obviously, and people who say, oh, that didn't play any part in it, it definitely played a part in it, 100%. He was hitting with the bare knuckle. I literally, you can see it in the video. But not only that, it's not that that's just like I'm pulling that out of my rear. I'm not just saying like I believe that. It's my opinion. That is a real thing. And not only that, but he trained in Detroit for the early part of his career. I grew up in Michigan. I trained in Detroit my whole life. That was a thing that Detroit guys would teach and do in the gyms and even in sparring. But even in amateur fights, they would put the gloves on that way and they would leave them loose and leave them flappy and put the wrist on the knuckle on purpose, and they would actually teach you to do that. That's an old school trick that's been used in gyms in Michigan at least, and maybe even more than that, and probably in more cases that we even know of, for a long period of time. So that is something that he did. It's a tactic. It wasn't an accident. He did it on purpose. I'm not even going to say, look, I don't know where I stand on it. Like I said, just because I've been around it so much, I would never do it myself, and I never have. I never bought into it, but I was always aware of it because I knew that in the gyms they would do it. And I knew when I was fighting a Detroit guy, we had to pay close attention to the way he was wearing his gloves. And I have fought people, and the way we learned it is because I fought a guy. I won't, nobody that anybody would know, but I was like maybe 12 years old, and I fought a guy who wore his gloves like that. And later on, we ended up, never thought anything of it, but I just remember, us watching the film and saying, what the heck was going on with that glove? And then being in another gym and then teaching and telling people to put their gloves on like that and saying, okay, that's what that guy was doing. And I still remember that to this day. And it's the first thing that I thought of when I saw the thing with Fury. And it just so happens, he grew up training in these parts where I grew up training. So, or not grew up, but at the beginning of his pro career when he was here with Emmanuel Stewart. So it's definitely something that is a real thing. And you're definitely, when you do it, you're hitting, you're basically landing a shot with a bare fist. But I do remember at that time, feeling like you definitely feel like you're getting hit with something harder than normal. You're getting hit with something harder than normal. It's like, well, you don't really put your finger on it, but you just know it to be true. And I can tell you that Wilder's face showed that he was getting hit with something harder than normal too. And I remember people saying, showing a video of Fury hitting the pads with his gloves on loose like that, and they were like, see, he wasn't doing that just in the ring, he was doing it on the pads too, so he wasn't doing it on purpose, as that being like their argument for the fact that he didn't mean to do it. No, that he's still going to do it. You're hitting essentially with the bare part of your knuckle. You need to practice that way. So of course he would get on and he wouldn't keep the glove on the pads and then loosen it for the fight, because you have to. It's the way you punch something is different when you have a glove on and when you don't have a glove on, and it's also having a flappy glove on. You're gonna want to get used to that. So if anything, the video of him on the pads with the gloves like that is more proof that he's been doing this for years. And I can say as a boxer, like I said, because I think more of the debate is, did he mean to do it? Or was it just a freak thing that his glove was on kind of loose? Or no, he definitely meant to do it. It's an old school trick. As a boxer who's been around in boxing since I was 7 years old, I've definitely come across this more than once. And that's where you got to have a heads up coach. And I'm very heads up too. I think just growing up in that situation, there was a lot of sly guys growing up around the parts that I did. It was a very competitive boxing scene, and a lot of people used a lot of different slick tricks, and things like that, and they had their little things that they would try to do. So I grew up not being very trusting of people. I definitely look out for certain things. So does my dad. We make sure that we nitpick definitely and make sure that nothing gets past, nothing gets by. So definitely, you want to make sure that when you touch their gloves, that glove's not moving at all. It's solid. It's taped down. You got their fist you can feel their fist through the glove, through the padding of the glove. You know what I mean? They have their glove all the way on, and it's not very hard to tell, honestly. But when you look, that's what I'm kind of like, how did this not get noticed? But more of it is just because Wilder didn't have that many amateur fights, and he didn't start fighting till he was older. You know what I mean? And he doesn't have the most experienced team except for Mark Breland. He was around for a long time, so he could have been somebody that would notice something like that if he had experienced it in the past. But I don't know. I think it's more on the ref's part. I think when the ref felt the gloves, he should have made sure that it was on tight. It was pretty obvious that it wasn't on tight, so it should have been dealt with. My dad, and I have my father as my coach too, so he's definitely, I can trust that he's paying attention to every little detail. And not that Wilder doesn't have a good team around him, or an experienced guy that could notice that, but I think it's a little bit different when you have your father there. I didn't notice in the fight when I was watching the fight just because I was thinking about the fight. So I wouldn't say it's so noticeable that it's just. And if I would have been in fight mode myself, where I'm like watching an opponent, I definitely would have seen it the first time I watched it. But Leon Lawson, my buddy, he's also a fighter. He sent me the video on Instagram. He sent me it first before I saw it anywhere else. It was the day after the fight. So he noticed it, and we grew up boxing in the same area. And if I would have been in fight mode looking at my opponent, I definitely would have noticed, but I just wasn't even paying attention to any of that at all. But right when I saw it, I was like, well, yeah, that's to get away with it. I did see a video of kind of a weird-looking video of the first fight where Jack Reese was trying to grab his hand, and he was kind of not letting him have it. He kept it on his chest. It was like a really strange video. It was like kind of, odd, but
So as y'all heard, the one and only Joey Spencer, an undefeated prospect on PBC and Showtime, he stated he believed that Tyson Fury allegedly cheated. Of course, you are innocent to proven guilty, but if you're a fighter on the coincidental list, you are guilty to proven innocence. But since Tyson Fury have the Hope Insurance, he be A-OK. But Joey Spencer basically co-signed all the allegations and new media and everything Akhi been preaching instead of reporting the past month or so. Joey Spencer stated that Tyson Fury was clearly punching with his bare knuckle, which gave him a hell of an advantage versus Deontay Wilder. He said it's clear to see that the glove was loose. He don't have to tell you that because you could clearly see it with your own eyes. Unless you Stevie Wonder, then you could wonder instead. But if your vision is 20/20, if not, grab a microscope or your glasses, whatever you have to do. And as y'all heard Joey Spencer, you could clearly see with your own eyes, Tyson Fury glove wasn't all the way in, and you could clearly see him punching with his bare knuckle. So I'm gonna leave the link for the full interview in the description box below, so check out the source. But with that being stated, Joey Spencer joins the list of many fighters that co-signs Tyson Fury tampering with glove accusations, aka the Glove Gate. On that list is Errol Spence, a pound-for-pound fighter whose nickname is The Truth, and he retweeted it to Max Kellerman and ESPN to talk about Tyson Fury hand wraps sticking out of Tyson Fury glove. But he was also ignored. Charles Martin tried as well by doing a 30-minute interview to no prevail, and even Steve Cunningham, Tyson Fury toughest opponent till this day, according to Fury himself, he displayed a 5-minute video of how Tyson Fury could have possibly have gotten away with cheating, which I have reported on it. I couldn't even keep up with the news from all these fighters that was coming out questioning the gloves. From George Grove, Tyson Fury owned countrymen, to Tyson Fury owned sparring partners, to a prospect such as Joey Spencer. And old media chooses to ignore all of this when the Glove Gate became bigger than the gate itself for Tyson versus Wilder rematch. Man, that Hope Insurance cover everything. That Hope Insurance is bigger than Geico. Geico don't even come close, ladies and gentlemen. They already erased fighters' losses, such as Lomachenko. And now with Tyson Fury, they took it to the next level by erasing history. If you let them tell it, Tyson Fury never failed a drug test or tested positive for steroids. And now relinquishing his license to run away from justice in the UK, giving up on the biggest mega fight that would have ever taken place in the UK between Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. And now, the glove gate accusations, they wouldn't even take Tyson Fury to court to prove him innocent or guilty. Like I said, when you're on the hope list, even when you're guilty, you are proven innocent. Even when there's witnesses, aka Carefoot the farmer with the wild boar bribing him to lie in court, or even Tyson Fury's sparring partner that busted him tampering with his own gloves during sparring. And just to put icing on the cake, they will ignore hard evidence that we could clearly see with our own eyes. Regardless of the proof that you bring to the table, it could be footage, it could be witnesses, that won't do. Even if you come in too, because that health insurance cover everything, 2s and 3s and 4s, and they will tell you that you either delusional, conspiracy theorist, when you just reporting exactly what you're seeing with your own eyes. However, you ain't gonna fool a believer. You only could fool a fool. And the whole lot of y'all decafs are a bunch of fools. And most of y'all are a bunch of racists. However, you could hide from the truth, but you can never ever hide the truth. Furthermore, shout out to Joey Spencer for having the cojones to talk about this issue that old media don't have the cojones to even speak on it when it's their job to inform the public. But Joey Spencer talked about it, and he stated that Tyson Fury have been taught how to fight with bare knuckle. Even Tyson Fury will tell you that himself. But credit to Joey Spencer, he went in depth on where that actually originated from, which is Detroit. Ironically, the same place that Tyson Fury trained at for Deontay Wilder rematch. At the KRONK gym. How ironic. The same trainer and the fighter talked about retirement right after Tyson Fury's biggest victory to this day. How ironic are all of these coincidences? But Joey Spencer talked about how he learned how to fight and punch with bare knuckle without hurting his hand. He learned all of that around the time he went to Detroit during his amateur career. He went on and added that Tyson Fury perfected fighting with bare knuckle because he did it throughout his career, and that co-signs again new media, something I already have reported on, which is Tyson Fury getting busted in the past for actually not having his hand fully in the glove. Shout out to Mark McDonald, the referee that actually busted Tyson Fury doing so during the fight. So with that being stated, Joey Spencer spoke the whole truth on this matter, and he stated Deontay Wilder team should have been way more careful when it comes to these things because the boxing game is dirty. But I thought that was the commission's job. However, in the sport of boxing, most of the organizations are corrupted, such as the WBC and not even the commission. That's how Margarito got away with cheating, and apparently Tyson Fury did as well, allegedly. Because apparently when you're a fighter from the hope list, even when you're guilty, you are innocent to proving guilty. But when you're a fighter on the coincidental list, you are guilty even if you are proven innocent. So with that being stated, that's the harsh reality of life. So shame on all of y'all old media and all y'all decafs and racist fans. Because at the end of the day, this is the sport where you could kill a man in the ring. And y'all letting a criminal get away with doing the crime, even though after he got busted with it. But I believe Deontay Wilder will finish this movie with his own hand. Especially if he lands that bazooka, that hammer from Alabama, and finish this story or this movie with the bang. Man, this is going to be a great movie that old media wouldn't even want to watch. Then they're going to turn to Stevie Wonder for real. However, even if Tyson Fury pulls off the win some way, somehow, after studying the awkwardness of Deontay Wilder, so on and so forth, Still, there's a message behind this, which is, this is not a free world. This is not a justice world. This is a corrupted world. So welcome to Earth. I think that should be the start of the movie. But with that being stated, shout out to Joey Spencer as he touched on this whole matter. So make sure y'all click on the link in the description box below. Subscribe below if you want to know some shit about boxing. If you're trying to get smarter by the minute, then subscribe below. If you're trying to get dumb about a second, don't, and listen to these decafs, aka dumb casual ass fan / old media. Of course, shout out to DBN for being the entrepreneur of new media that I'm a part of. And if you're a casual fan and you want to be a hardcore, all you have to do is click on the notification bell to get notified every time we post or go live on Split Decision. It's a boxing debate / talk show where Akhi is the past, present, and future pound for pound #1. So if you're a casual and you want to be a hardcore, all you have to do is graduate from the Akhi University and you well on your way. But on Akhi University, we preach nothing but the whole truth. So when you want to hear the truth, click on my videos. When you want to hear a lie, go to old media and hear their report. Don't come to Akhi TV unless you want to hear someone preach the truth instead of report a lie. With that being stated, follow Lunatoon Boxing for the funniest boxing memes. If a picture says 1,000 words, his meme says 1,000,000 words. Also, follow me at Akhi TV on Instagram. Keep it a G and follow me on IG. Cop the Akhi merch. This is the Boxing Brotherhood. Akhi stand for my brother / broski in Arabic. So to be continued on the next episode of Akhi TV. Peace, and we out of here.